Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Connected Factory Digital and Manufacturing. I'm Rachel from Nestlé, and I'll be your host for this session. Just some house rules to ensure a smooth flowing session today. Keep an eye on the chat box and make sure not to flood it with spam so you can catch important announcements and links on how you engage with us via slido.com. You may see the chat box for the code to join our session. Have your mobile phones on standby to scan the QRC code on the slides and see career opportunities in technical, production, and engineering across all the Nestlé markets around the globe. Great, let's begin the session. Introducing our inspiring keynote speaker for today, Howard Baker, Global Head of Engineering, Services, and Technology at Nestlé. Howard has been with Nestlé for 20 years with a background in engineering. Howard has been a factory engineer, a factory manager in the UK and in the US, as well as a chief engineer in the UK before coming to this role in 2018. I'm excited to learn from Howard about what Nestlé is doing to bring digital transformation to our factories. With that, Howard, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for the fantastic introduction. And I'm excited to be with you today. I'd like to talk about our digital transformation inside of Nestlé factories. But I want to start, first of all, just by putting this into some context and why digital is so important for Nestlé operations today. I mean, basically, because the whole world is changing. Nothing new here, right? Except the speed of change is faster than ever before. Geopolitical situation is more dynamic than we've ever experienced. We have the pandemic, we have a crisis in Europe. All of this is creating uncertainty, and the need to respond is like never before in history. Our consumers, our customers in the marketplace, our investors and technology, they push us to do everything better every day. And technology and digitalization represents a real opportunity for operations to respond to these challenges, to be faster, more agile, more resilient, and more responsive than we ever have before. So let's take it into the factory. And how will we describe our factories in the future, in this future context? The first thing I want to say is, well, the future is here and now today. The future factory is already a reality inside of Nestlé. There are some key points here that I want to make. First of all, not all factories are made the same, designed the same, or fulfill the same roles. Each factory has a slightly different role to play in our agile supply network. Some factories will be focused on new products, on product development, on launches. Some factories will be focused on high volume, low cost manufacture to push out as much product as possible. And each of these factories will have different attributes and different capabilities that will mark them out as different from the others. However, all of our factories have operators. Nestlé globally has about 80,000 operators in our factories. And our ambition is to build the factories and build our digital tools around those operators to ensure that they have everything they need every day to be as productive as they possibly can. We create a lot of data on our journey in our factories, and we're going to use this data to build intelligent machines using advanced analytics and machine learning to optimize our processes so that our operators have autopilot, have guide, have GPS type solutions to help them be the best they can be every day and deliver the best product to our consumers so that we can be more productive and we can utilize our natural resources in a sustainable way for the future. What are the benefits of this connected operations in our factories? Well, the first, I think, is transparency. We are able to see the whole of our operation front to back, from ingredient through to finished product. We can trace our ingredients back to the source, ensuring quality and sustainability, providing confidence to our consumers, but it also has implications internally for our business processes. Again, enabling us to be more responsive, to be more resilient, so that we can adapt quickly to planning and execution changes in supply or demand signals, which in turn means that we can be flexible for our consumers and for our customers, who demand changes are rapidly reconsidered in an ever-changing environment. For everybody in our operation, it means that they can be connected constantly for strong communication end to end, with access to the information that they need as and when they need it for fast decision making. What is driving this change technologically in and around our factories? There are 3 points to consider here. The first is connectivity. A lot of the information and data that we derive for decision making comes straight from the machines and sensors on the shop floor. And enabling this flow of information to the right decision makers in real time enables us to manage performance in a real way and a real-time way, and for us to have augmented reality and communication of interactive operating procedures, of training material, and to allow us to connect directly to the equipment in order to understand how our processes are performing. The second is intelligence, where we use this data that we've extracted using advanced analytical tools, artificial intelligence, and machine learning in order to generate new insights about our process, enabling predictive maintenance, predictive quality, and enabling us to forecast demand changes in a real-time way. The third point is flexible automation. And here we have advances in automation technology and robotics, collaborative robotics, enabling robots to work alongside humans in a very safe way for the first time, really, enabling productivity improvements, quality and safety for our operational processes, but also through the use of automatic guided vehicles, we're able to bring materials to the line, eliminating repetitive manual activity for our operators in the factory. These 3 technological breakthroughs built on the power and availability of computing enables this digital transformation to take place inside of Nestlé. What does it look like in a factory, and what is our strategy? Well, our strategy is called Connected Factory, and it's a global program to scale digital tools and solutions to our 350 factories worldwide. The strategy comprises of 4 elements. First is connected workers, where our ambition is to provide all of our operators and technicians in our factories with real-time information on mobile computing platforms, eliminating paper in our operation, and enabling to be able to conduct activities like predictive maintenance, do labor planning in a very automated way, and also to do remote support from experts outside the factory, from our centers, our regional engineering centers, and from our product technology centers, to support our operators and technicians in the factories using virtual reality tools, augmented reality tools to solve problems on a day-to-day basis. So connected worker is at the center of our strategy. The second part of our strategy is to optimize our processes. And here, as I said, we're using data that we bring directly from the machines and the shop floor, from the automation layer, to bring advanced process control, to build digital twins of our process, enabling the simulation of our machines and equipment in the factory, and enabling overall our operators, process engineers, and technicians to optimize our processes, driving the best quality, the best yield, the best use of our natural resources. The third pillar, which is flexible automation, enables us to be able to provide our customers and consumers with the specific products that they need in a very flexible way. It also enables us to reduce the amount of manual work that is done in our factories, enabling our operators to take on more advanced tasks, more upskilling, more capable tasks that are more fulfilling and rewarding, taking away the manual repetitive activity of the past. But none of these three pillars, none of these three areas can be successful without first we put the technology foundations in place. And here there are some opportunities clearly for engineers, data scientists, IT engineers to work with us to put in place this infrastructure in our factories, ensuring cybersecurity, ensuring we have the right information, the right data in the right place, and enabling the data to flow from machines to the factory, to our regional centers, and ultimately to our global businesses, so that we can monitor and manage our performance on an ongoing basis in real time. So those are the four areas of our connected factory strategy. What are some of the exciting changes that we've seen in our factories as a result of this implementation? I'd like to take you through a number of examples. The first is called our Connect. It's our Operator Connect platform. It is a software-based solution on a tablet where we have live data coming to the operator from our production process. The operator is able to eliminate all of the previous paper processes that we had in the factories, can monitor quality, can monitor performance, can complete the checklists that we need to ensure the line is running well, can receive safety information and pass safety information on to the other operators in the team. They can receive training through this operator platform. They can access how-to videos like YouTube on how to perform certain tasks, like a changeover. And they can even post problems for other people in the factory to help them solve those problems through kind of a workplace chat kind of environment where they can post a problem and receive input on how to solve them. This is a platform that already has many applications built into it, but it's also a platform that we look to expand in the future with even more applications, some of which will be developed even in the factories by operators in these teams who are using the software that we use every day to build workflows and build their own applications to help them solve problems that they have. This is already live in 200 factories around the Nestlé world and is bringing huge benefits to Nestlé as a business. The next that I'd like to showcase for you is Factory Control Center, which takes the information that's coming to the Connect platform, but brings it on even to the next level, where we integrate here all of the supervisory systems in our factories into a control center that looks a little bit like mission control in NASA, where we, again, eliminate a lot of the paper processes that we have in the factories. We integrate real-time video from cameras. We integrate information about the processes from our machines. And in the Factory Control Center, you can see everything that's happening from what comes in to the factory gate to what goes out as finished product finally at the end of a shift. It's all connected in the cloud with real-time dashboards and visualization, and enables the factory team to dynamically manage their production processes, and also enables the remote expert to dial in and help if there's any problems in the factory on a day-to-day basis. Let me go a little bit deeper into intelligent machines. And here our ambition is to build a series of applications which will help our operators to drive an even more efficient and productive factory. And we have a journey of solutions in all of our product categories, like nutrition and dairy and coffee and pet care, where our product categories have identified the areas that will be focused on in order to drive this artificial intelligence and machine learning led revolution. You can imagine in a car, the very basic car, you have a dashboard, and in a very advanced car, you have kind of an autopilot. This is the same ambition for some of our machines in our factories. We again connect to the factory machines. We create models of how those machines perform, a digital twin of the process. This brings diagnostic information for operators and technicians, can predict when the machine will fail and how it's performing, can also be used to anticipate errors and avoid mistakes happening to improve our process, And this is driving a high level of quality in our factories. It's driving a high level of performance in our factories, and is enabling us to solve many challenges that we have. And then the final area that I'd like to showcase, and here there's a video running, I hope you can see. We used a simulation tool to model a process which was previously entirely manual. And here you can see a series of robots taking ingredients from a store, putting those ingredients in a processing order, weighing those ingredients out, and preparing those ingredients to be taken by an AGV, you can see arriving on the screen, to the production line, to the production process, in order to be batched up into, in this case, it's a food process for ingredients for an evening meal. So this is just one example of many examples of how robotics are playing a role in our factories. And again, I hope you can see there are real opportunities here for engineers and robotics engineers to get involved in designing these systems, building these systems, and simulating these systems, so that we can look at a number of advanced scenarios here across all of our different product categories globally. So a number of examples to help demonstrate how digitalization is having an impact in our factories. But what does it mean? What does it mean for you? Well, digitalization in our factories is bringing together two different worlds. The operating technology world, where we previously have electrical engineers, automation engineers, PLC programmers, people who programmed SCADA systems in the past and MES systems in the past. And it's merging that world with our IT world, where we have database systems, hardware engineers, network engineers, and we're bringing these two areas together in a way like never before. So there is a need to drive new skills and new capabilities in our factory in order to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. And it means that there are opportunities for all of you out there with all of your skills to play a significant role in changing the face of our factories in the future, and helping us to connect our factories through Industry 4.0 opportunities and technologies. So that's a very short overview of what's happening in the connected factory world. And I'd like to take this opportunity to open for questions. I hope we have plenty of questions that are coming through on Slido, Rachel. If there are any questions, I invite you to fire away.
Thank you, Howard. We have lots of good questions, so let me pick a few of them. Let's start with, since you just finished with the talking of the merge of the two worlds and what skills may be needed, could you just talk a little bit more about what skills or different skills will be needed in factories in the future to enable this digital transformation?
Of course, it's a great question. Well, we need still a lot of the skills that we already have before. So automation engineers, people with skills inside of factories, being able to make processes work effectively, of course, still welcome, still very relevant as before. But if we focus on where we have new opportunities, then I would say we're bringing the IT world inside of our factories like we never have before. And we have challenges with network engineers. We need very good Wi-Fi. We need infrastructure. We have the need for very fast databases and accessibility to technology inside our factories to help us do process control. We need data scientists and analysts inside of our factories, which we didn't have so many before, and now we see, because we're gathering so much data and we need to do more analytics, we need this skill set in our operational teams, and we have plans to build those capabilities, but also we invite people to join in that respect. And we'll need programmers to help us build these applications in our factories too. So I would say, in summary, it's kind of IT skills merged with the OT skills like before. Of course, we still need process engineers because we can't build digital twins effectively of our production processes without we understand the processes at a very deep level. So chemical engineers, process engineers, simulation tools, modeling, analytics capabilities. All of those things are highly relevant now in terms of a factory skill set. But not only in factories, I would say we have a lot of opportunities also above factories in corporate environments at market level. And of course, we have even in the regional teams opportunities for these skill sets too. So not only inside factories, but also outside of factories.
All right, sounds like there's lots of opportunity. We're going to segue a little bit away from the people piece, but can you talked about intelligent machines and you talked about AI a little bit, but it's a bit of a science fiction concept for a lot of people. So could you tell us how artificial intelligence has been used in production and where you see some of the more important applications of AI?
Yeah, of course. Happy to share one or two examples with you. So artificial intelligence is, it's a huge area. It's a very wide area. It has many different meanings to many different people. But I think essentially, if we try and distill it down inside of our factories, what it means is that we are using data and analyzing data using tools that are available to us to identify from many different inputs what the critical control or the critical elements are in order to be able to predict outputs and predict outcomes from that data. And the main area where we are using this currently is in our production processes. So let me give an example. We're producing a powdered product for dairy, and we want to make sure always that the moisture content of that product is very accurate. Then we have many different inputs, and we're taking that data. We're using tools. Probably won't name specific examples of tools, but we're using these analytical tools to be able to control the process, to be able to look at the inputs to that process and control very closely our moisture content on the output. Another example would be in our utilities area, where we need to generate a lot of steam, and we're creating that steam in a way in coffee by using our own coffee grounds, which is another complicated process that needs to be optimized. And we're using a advanced programming algorithm in order to be able to control the parameters to generate the maximum amount of steam with the fewest amount of inputs, which means that we're making great use of our resources. And another one in the utilities area, where we're really focused on driving our greenhouse gas reduction down and improving our water consumption and our energy consumption. We have a project globally where we're using machine learning tools and analytics to look at all of our consumptions in factories and control very closely the inputs in order to drive the best possible resource efficiency and outputs. So we have examples like this in every area of our business. We're using lots of different tools to generate these outputs, but it's a huge opportunity for us to improve and to focus. So we have some good progress in terms of using artificial intelligence and machine learning tools on top of our data.
All right. So the next question kind of builds on what you were talking about already. It sounds like we've done a lot in this area, but what are some of the challenges that Nestlé is facing regarding the digital technology selection and implementation process?
Okay, so there are a lot of challenges that we face. I would say probably they come in several areas. I guess the first is that we have lots of different technologies available for us to use. So choosing the right technology to the right application is something that we spend a lot of time on. We've done a lot of experimentation globally in different markets with different tools. And that's enabled us to select the right tools to solve our problems, but it takes time, it takes effort, So the proliferation of technology is one of the challenges that we face in choosing the right solution. To help us do that, of course, we need the right resources and the right capability. And this is why we're talking to you through Nest Level 2022, because we have lots of opportunities to attract you to our company in order to help us solve these challenges with technology. So getting the right resources and the right capability in the business is also a challenge that we face, but we're excited about that challenge. And then I think that the third challenge that we have is Nestlé is a huge company with 350 factories globally. We can take a great idea, but one of the challenges that we have is scaling that great idea and making an impact in every one of these factories. I guess it comes back a little bit to the resources, but going fast and going far is a challenge in Nestlé. But when we address that challenge, it brings huge benefits, because the scale of Nestlé really is an opportunity for us as well. So resources, capabilities, and I guess there's a lot of technology out there. I would say those are the main areas for challenge.
Okay. So before we go to our final question, we have one more that's about what is the digital initiative, or which digital initiative do you feel has had the biggest impact?
The one I'm most excited about so far for Nestlé is our Connect platform, because it touches so many people in the organization, and it's one of those areas where it's probably the most obvious sign of a change taking place. It's a visible sign for a change. It touches people individually. It engages them in a different way. It's exciting to be able to take away the paper from an operation and be able just to use the tablet. It's the way of working that everybody has now, basically, anyway. So it's expected in our factories, and to see it happening real is really exciting. So that's the one probably I think that has had the biggest impact today. The biggest impact tomorrow, I am probably most hopeful and excited about what we can do with data and analytics next. Gathering data has been a challenge. We now have invested a lot of time and effort in putting that connectivity into our factories. So now we have a flood of information coming to us. The next challenge probably is how we really embrace that data and how we use it. But I'm excited to see how the intelligent machines journey evolves over time. That's the next big thing, I think, for Nestlé in this plan.
Okay, so we're going to end with one of my favorite questions. And it's basically, what advice would you give young engineers who want to grow their career in operations regarding digital application or digital technology?
Okay. So what advice? Well, first of all, I would say, please, you should look at Nestlé first thing, I would say. There's a lot going on inside of the company, and maybe not the first, if you're an engineer and you're thinking about a career in using digital applications, maybe Nestlé isn't up to now you're the first place you would think. But I would say, my encouragement to you would be, really have a look at what's going on here. We've got a lot of opportunities. We've got a lot of problems that we want to solve using these digital tools, and there's a very exciting time ahead inside of Nestlé. I think the second thing probably I would say is be clear about what you want to achieve and how you want to play a role. What's the environment that you want to work in? With factories, in operations, we have a very, very hands-on environment. It's working with people, it's solving their problems in a dynamic way. We have those opportunities. At the other end of the scale, we have lots of the support services opportunities around putting in the infrastructure and the back office stuff to make all of that work. So try and be clear about where you want to play. What are your strengths? What kind of career do you want? Where do you want to start? How do you want to progress? And then target your approach accordingly. I think the other thing to say about that is, it doesn't mean that once you've decided you're in that grew forever. Not at all. Nestlé is one of those companies where you have an opportunity to grow and diversify and build over time. But where do you want to start is what I would say. So those would be my two bits of advice right now.
Okay, well, it looks like we have some time still, so I'm going to ask a couple more questions. So this one is kind of fun. So if you were able to kind of start your life now as a career versus when you were going to school and going to college, what would you choose? Which path and why?
Okay, that's an interesting one. Well, I mean, I ought to say for the record, I'm a mechanical engineer, right? So, not an electrical engineer. But anyway, would I change that? Probably not. But what maybe I would do earlier in my career, I think if I went round again, probably would get closer to some of the automation areas. I think was always an interest for me, but probably I would go a little bit further in that direction. I think there are so many untapped opportunities for us there. I think I would like to go and play in that playground for a while. So yeah, maybe that's something that I would do if I did it differently again.
All right. Mechanical engineers are amazing, but I kind of like automation as I'm electrical.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a different topic, but I know it's something that you're working on, but we talked about intelligent machines. We talked about connected operator. Can you just talk a little bit about how we're leveraging digital to help us with our Renewable 100 goals?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I mean, this is an important topic. We have a project we're putting in to our factories, a new solution on energy, and on resources, so that we'll get visibility right across our organization of every piece of energy that we use, of every type, how we use it, when we use it, how much of it we use, and gathering this data, going right the way back to the start of the presentation on connectivity, has been something that's been a challenge in the past. We've really got behind it now and put in place a lot of infrastructure to help gather that information. And now we're building on top the parts to help us do the analysis. And this is exciting because manufacturing and operations accounts for a significant part of our overall greenhouse gas emissions. It accounts for a significant part of our water usage globally. And it certainly accounts for a significant proportion of our energy. And energy, as we know, is a very, very scarce and expensive commodity right now. So this project called Horizon will bring visibility to our consumption in a level of detail like we never had before. But the same data will also be used with the analytical tools to help us control our processes better. We'll be able to help us identify where opportunities to save water, save energy, reduce our greenhouse gas consumption will come from in the future. And we're looking for a breakthrough change here through Project Horizon to be able to deliver our 2050 goals of zero carbon, but also our 50% reduction by 2030, and all of the milestones in between, of course, with the drive to be 100% renewable electricity by 2025, the first goal to be achieved on that journey. So digitalization and our sustainability journey are really closely aligned here. And without the digitalization journey, it would be very, very difficult to hit these goals. So yeah, thanks for the question. It's a good prompt.
No problem. One more. We talked a little bit about AI, so artificial intelligence, but I also noticed there was a digital twin that you had on one of your slides, and maybe not everybody understands what a digital twin is. So could you explain that and then the power of that tool?
Okay, of course. Yeah, sorry for that. So a digital twin is basically a virtual representation of a real world piece of equipment or a process or even a factory or even the whole supply chain. And with digital twin, our ambition is to, and we have We have 1 or 2 examples already developing. Our ambition is to take our key core processes and model them in an engineering environment and in a physics environment, so that we have all of the data and intelligence about that process available to us virtually from a design perspective, and then take that digital model into an operational environment where we then connect it to all of the real world data that it's producing. And essentially, we then have a complete virtualized model of our production processes and our factory. What does it enable us to do? Well, first of all, it enables us to learn very deeply about what that process can do. It means we can test what if scenarios on that model. We can plan, we can develop, we can predict, we can forecast, and it means that we can go so much deeper into our whole operation and get deeper insights to help us to be better, faster, more productive, more sustainable, and really drive our improvement to the next level of performance. So digital twin is another next big thing.
All right. You talked a little bit about robotics and robotic solutions. Can you talk about one of the ones that you think is really kind of cool that would capture the interest of our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, the one I really like is the one actually that I showed a little bit the video of. If you can, but to appreciate, I think you have to imagine a little bit the world before. Where there was a room full of people taking the tubs to weighing scales, weighing the scales, weighing the powders, measuring the powders, putting them away, putting them back. You know, it was a hive of activity, kind of well organized chaos in kind of a way. And what we have with this system is taking away perhaps maybe what is not the most rewarding job in the world, but is making it a process area which is highly accurate, highly repeatable, totally clean, accurate weighing in a way like you never had before. So making sure we use every last opportunity to get the most out of our ingredients. And it's kind of cool because it's like one of those science fiction areas, because it's built now, right? I mean, I showed the model, but it's built now. Kind of one of those areas where you see a silent kind of motion and things are happening very smooth, very nicely. And it, really is high tech in a way like anything the automotive industry have got on the production lines for the high tech cars. So I like it because it's high tech, it's removing low value work, and it's providing highly accurate and repeatable performance at the same time.
Okay, perfect. All right. One more question, and this one might be a tough one, but as we look at your current role and you lead an engineering team in our corporate function, how do you see your role evolving in the future as we digitize and reskill and look for different skill sets?
I'm going to need to think about that one a little bit. Well, first thing is that there's a lot left to do in this role. So if anybody's watching and anybody's interested, I'm still very interested to do it for a while yet. But how's it going to change? How's it going to evolve? This technology area is evolving all of the time. It's almost, there's something new comes along every day that we need to look at, and they're always an exciting opportunity that opens your mind to, wow, what could we do if we could bring that into Nestlé? How would that look? So it's very exciting role. I think it's going to evolve because we're going to get more and more different technologies to look at. I think one of the things that we have to be clear about is that the technologies are here for a reason, and so there has to be a business benefit. So whilst the technology itself is kind of exciting and interesting, one of the roles that we have is to make sure that there's an application for that. technology. So we have to keep a little bit grounded on business results for sure. But the role is going to evolve because the role will be open to new technologies. The other thing is the faster we go and the further we go, the more we have to build the capability in the organization to support this journey. So as you kind of said in the question a little bit, we will have to do even more than we're currently doing on capability building and bringing the right people into the teams, giving them the right skills to be successful, setting them up for success. So that's how it will evolve.
All right, we're going to take you off the hot seat. We're going to move to the close. So thank you so much for the Q&A as well as the insightful session that you've delivered. I'm sure everybody is overwhelmed with just the amount of applications of digital and what Nestlé is doing. We're doing a lot of work there. So we hope you enjoyed, to our viewers, we hope you enjoyed hearing from our industry experts and feel inspired by their sharing. Digital acceleration clearly plays a big role in engineering, and there are always endless opportunities to look forward to in driving efficiency and quality in everything we do. All right, don't forget to catch the next session by Luca Fischera and Katie Billington as they talk about connected planning as a competitive edge in today's business reality. You'll learn how Nestlé is leveraging on connected planning to tackle today's business challenges. This one you don't want to miss. Make sure to go and click the links on the chat to go directly to the next session. Or you may go back to the agenda page and join the sessions from there. If you miss it, don't panic. All of these sessions are being recorded, and you can see those recordings for a personal recap at a later time. Feel free to share your thoughts about today's Nest Level session and tag us in LinkedIn with hashtag NestLevel 2022. Have a great day, everyone, and see you in the next session. Bye-bye.